let's talk about hand protection today. So I've got two different generations of the pivot grips here, and this is generation 2, generation 3, and I want to talk about the differences between the two that have been upgraded for this third variation, the things I like about both, and why I still use both. But the big importance here is taking care of the hands. As a lot of you know, especially through pull-ups, a lot of bar work, we can end up doing a good amount of tearing on our hands as well as starting to rip off calluses. These provide a lot of protection and keep those calluses from rubbing off so quickly and or building up really quickly. So the cool thing about pivot grips is they're not set up like your regular grip. With the pivot grips, I can literally pivot it, which is really nice. So when I'm set up here, it looks like your normal grip setup that you would use on the bar. But if I have a workout where I've got to transition between several different types of movements, like going into a handstand push-up wouldn't be ideal, doing some bar work, as in Olympic lifting, powerlifting, or otherwise, won't be very ideal. But the cool thing is, I can slip it off, turn it, attach it, and I'm good to go. Now with the generation 2, we've got a bigger wrist, wrap on it, right? And it feels very, very soft. It's really nice. And so it kind of doubles as a wrist wrap, if you will, for lifting or otherwise. And you can obviously tighten this, loosen this as necessary. The pivot grip itself, the swivel itself is visible, while on this one it's not. It's actually covered up. One of the issues I had with the first generation of this is on the backside the screw would come undone. You don't have that issue with the second generation. With this third generation, I have zero issues whatsoever. But it's very similar, right? Pop it off, turn, lock it in place, I'm good to go. And it's really easy to transition for both of them. Both of them work very, very well. With these, you want these to be set up so that it's not too tight where it's super restricting, where it's hard to actually lock my fingers out. But I also want to make sure that it's snug enough here that it's actually creating that wrist support. Now, as you see on the smaller one, right, it's not as thick, but it still protects that wrist and still gives me a solid support as I'm taking load overhead or otherwise. Now, just like anything else, when it comes to these grips, they work just the same. Whether I'm doing pull-ups, right, butterfly, or bar muscle ups, you name it, my hands are good to go. My transitions are easy. So I'll put a link down in the description. You can check these out, get a pair for yourself. They are fantastic, but when it comes to hand protection, definitely having grips like this is the way to go. That's your tip for the week. We'll see you later. Peace.